You come from college where there were not preseason games. How much do you think in the NFL now, a running back like Saquon Barkley and these other guys need to get knocked around a little bit, need to get tackled, need to show they can hold on to the ball, because you're not going to have any of that stuff really?
Well, I think first, even in college, a big part of it was, practice. The way you practice, is not necessarily bringing guys to the ground, but you could practice at a tempo where they're getting some of the bumps that they need to have to be able to play in the game. So I think what we're doing is we follow in that format. You try to create some situations in practice where they're going to get bumped up a little bit, and it was rare that we had a lot of scrimmages, even in colleges.
Zach?
Hey, Burton, I was wondering what your impression has been of Javon Leake since you've got a hand on him and been able to, coach him up, especially with these padded practices.
Well, I think he's working really hard. What we try to do is just try to expose these guys to, as many fundamentals as possible. Across the board, we're trying to coach all these guys fundamentally. I always say football plays are football plays. It's the way you run them. So I think he's made some progress with, improving his fundamentals and paying attention to detail. It's like anything else. It's a transitional period from a guy coming from college to the pros. It's like it was when the guy came from high school. So he's making good progress, getting in touch with fundamentally how to run a place.
Thanks.
Hi, Leonard.
Hey, Burton, I see you guys working Saquon on pass protection every day, in an individual drill or an individual period. How big of an emphasis has that been with him through the offseason and camp, and how is he taking to the regular drilling on that?
Well, I think, pass protection is like any other technique that we have, that we practice, like running the ball, running routes. I think this has always been my routine. That was part of the three things that we really had to be good at. So, we just continue to try to work on technique and try to pay attention to the details of how to run the ball, how to run routes, and how to protect. So, it's not that we just emphasize that. I think we've made it across the board coaching point that we wanted to get, that we wanted to, not only for Saquon, but for everybody else.
You don't think the tape last year showed he needed to improve specifically there?
Well, actually my whole opinion about all that kind of stuff is like, I never really worried about what happened last year. It's like, let's start all over. We start now, today. So this is how we technically want to do our job based on the scheme of the offense, So I'm not going to judge on what happened last year.
Thanks.
Art?
Hey, Burton. Kind of piggybacking on the whole pass protection thing, but talking to Dion Lewis last night, he's praised for his pass protection, and his eyes kind of lit up a little bit, talked about a 2.5, 3 second fight that you got to win. Is there an art to being a good pass protector as a running back?
Well, I think, obviously it's technique. It comes down to technique. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. It's technique. And it's one of the fundamentals that we always preaching in our coaching every day. It's like, let's have good pad level. Let's have good balance. So I think that plays into not only running the football, but it also plays into the protection part of it. And it's timing. Everything is about timing. So that's why we continue to work on the technique and the timing and getting in the right position, and so it's kind of after a while, it becomes just as normal as running the football. All right. So yeah, it is an art. It's just like running a good downhill running play. It's art. You got to utilize all your different fundamental skills to get that done.
Thank you.
All right, we got time for two more, Jordan and Justin. Jordan.
Hey, Burton, how you doing? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. What do you think about the possibility or the idea that Saquon could be an even bigger factor in the passing game than he has in the past?
Well, a lot of it has to do. Obviously, he's a talented individual. He's got great athletic ability. Running the ball, catching the ball. So I think we're just going to let the flow of the offense take care of all of that. I think we have a good system, and then we have good balance in our system. So we're going to ask all our players to have the ability to do not only running the ball, being involved in the passing game, which carries over to the protection thing as well. So I think as the flow of the offense goes, we'll just see where his ability is bringing him to.
What about his skill set, though? Do you see that skill set there to be a huge factor in the passing game?
Well, he's athletic, and he's got, he's got good hands, great hands. He's got a good ability to run routes. So yes, again, we want to involve this guy in every facet of the game. So we're just going to let the flow of the offense happen and get him involved when we can.
Appreciate it.
Last question here, Justin.
Hey, Coach, sort of on a different topic. Exactly 4 years ago today, Colin Kaepernick started his protest, and it became public. We've seen the league change their tune. I'm just curious on why you think the league has been so receptive, and if you could reflect back on the past 4 years and talk about what the turning point was.
Well, obviously I was not in the NFL. I just came, I've been in college football. But I think the whole thing is just, it's just a concern. It's just a concern for just human nature, just like basically, everybody, it's everybody's just trying to get along with each other. So I'm not sure exactly what the NFL had been doing. I hadn't followed that much, but just in general, socially, it's just a time this is this time where people are trying to understand each other better so we could get along better.